In this video, I'll be talking about Artemis, the goddess of the hunt from the Greek pantheon. So, Artemis is a hunter, as implied by the bow and the whole goddess of the hunt thing that's going on with her. So, she's a physical god. Uh, yeah. So now, moving into base stats here, 450 health, 72 per level. Very low mana with this god. 205 only plus 34 per level, and very low basic attack damage for a hunter, 35 plus 2.05 per level. Magical defense is standard with physical gods, with the physical hunters. Physical defense 12 plus 3 per level. So she's got finished with 72 just by natural scalings, and probably 72 overall since you don't buy defense with hunters. So then, the reason why Artemis has such low basic attack damage is because of her passive, Still Target. Artemis will gain a chance to critically strike, and this buff will increase on each successful hit. So each time she hits an enemy, she gains 1 stack of Still Target. And each stack will raise her critical chance by 5%. And she can stack this 3 times. So hitting 3 basic attacks will give you a 15% chance to hit a crit, and a crit doubles your damage. So 4-second duration with this. So that's why her basic attack damage runs so low, is because she's getting passive crits. So if you gave her the same natural scalings as the other hunters, she'd be the best hunter in the game by far. This kind of limits her early game because she's not going to be doing as much damage as the other hunters with those passive crits. And the passive crits are really what increase her damage dramatically. Her first ability, Transgressor's Fate. Artemis will put a trap on the ground, which is visible but like a little faded into the back. So an enemy god that comes within 5 units of the trap will activate it, and the trap will suck them in, rooting and crippling them. So rooting means they can't move, crippling means that they can't use any movement abilities. And it will deal damage to them every second for 3 seconds. So the root lasts for 2 seconds. You can have 3 traps down at all times, so you can't just like stack a bunch of traps in one spot or have them all over the map, because that would be ridiculous. So now damage protect 25 to 85, up by 15 per level, plus 30% of your physical power. Cooldown decreases dramatically, 18 to 10 seconds, but going down by 2 seconds at each level. That's huge. So now mana cost 60 to 80, standard with abilities. They go up a little bit. Her second ability is called Vengeful Assault. It's a buff that dramatically increases Artemis' attack and movement speed. See her attack speed 35 to 75%, movement speed flat 20% at all levels. The duration will increase as you level up from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. So this is one of the biggest hunter steroids, and it makes you really dangerous late game, but early game is not as great because you're not gonna have any attack speed items to begin with. So that 35% is less impactful. Cooldown 18 to 14 seconds, cost 70 to 90. Let this be known that this is Artemis' only movement ability. She doesn't have a dash or an escape, so she can get picked off really easily because this movement speed bonus isn't huge. You saw with the Muzenkob, he gets a lot of movement speed out of the hives. Artemis is not limited by the fact that she has to be near something, but the Vengeful Assault doesn't help her. Doesn't help her too much if the enemy has a movement ability, so you need to be very careful when playing this god and understand that you can't get away as easily as others. So now her third ability is called Suppress the Insolent. Artemis will fire a volley of arrows into a ground target, which will deal damage and slow every enemy that's hit. So for her only damaging ability that can hit minions, this doesn't do a lot of damage. Artemis' wave clear is pretty terrible. Thankfully, most hunters are in line with that with bad wave clear. So now, unlike Ullr or AMC or Anhur, Artemis can't really clear the wave. And luckily, she doesn't have to worry about this too much, since few hunters other than those 3 can clear the wave. But Artemis does especially low damage with her ability. Suppress the Insolent goes from 80 to 280 damage, with only 40% of her physical power being used as extra damage. So, she's not doing a whole lot, and that's because of this 25% slow, which lasts for 2 seconds. And due to the large rate, due to how big the ability is, it's not easy to miss with. And especially since the cooldown's only 10 seconds, so this ability can be used more often than most other Hunter abilities. Mana cost 70 to 90, a little bit painful for Artemis because of her low mana pool by base statistics, so you have to be careful about that. So now her ultimate is called the Caledonian Boar. And when Artemis activates this, she will unleash the Caledonian Boar, which will charge at enemies and stunning them and itself. And the boar, once summoned, is immune from damage until he hits the first god, and then he'll continue to charge into other gods for its lifetime, or until it's killed. So now the boar lasts for 6 seconds by itself, or can just die. You know, both work. Damage 150 to 450, plus 100% of your physical power. So the boar will do a lot of damage. But the main thing with this boar is the stun. 1.1 seconds to 1.5 seconds in duration. Mana cost 80 to 120, cooldown 90 seconds. And additionally, in an upcoming patch, this boar's targeting mechanic will be a little bit better. Artemis will gain a cone that also focuses the boar on an enemy god within that cone, because oftentimes the boar would be summoned, and you think it's going to charge the god in front of you, and it decides to target the god that's a little bit away from you that you're not attacking, which can mess up your ability of killing. So the boar's mechanics get worked on a little bit in an upcoming patch, but as of making this video, that is not the case. So now, leveling with Artemis. You definitely want to, at level 1, you take Suppress the Insolent. That damage is your only form of wave clear, even if it's not a lot. Your only other option is to basic attack the wave, and it's not really that effective, especially if you don't get crits and aren't lucky. So take that at level 1. At level 2, you want Transgressor's Fate. Now, the reason you don't get Vengeful Soul is that mana cost is very high, and Transgressor's Fate is the only form of clear you're going to have, or peel, I should say, not clear. Clear is Suppress the Insolent, but it's the only form of peel you're going to be able to get with Artemis. So taking this at level 2 means that if someone tries to attack you, you can just put down the trap and run away. And then at level 3, you take another level of Suppress the Insolent. More damage, better wave clear, you know the drill. At level 4, you want Vengeful Assault, because that movement speed and the attack speed. This is not really where your kill potential is, but it's where you can start doing a bit more stuff. It's just you might as well take it at this point. There's no reason in saving a point. You might as well have Vengeful Assault ready in case you need it. Level 5, Caledonian Boar. This is where the kill potential of Artemis comes online a little bit. But unlike a lot of the hunters, her kill potential is very based off of the boar working the way it's supposed to, and her being very lucky with crits. So your kill potential can vary a little bit. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention with the Caledonian Boar. Artemis is immune to crowd control for 3 seconds after summoning the boar, and while summoning it, so it's a way to break CC and get away if you need to. So level 6, level 7, Suppress the Insolent. Level 8, Vengeful Assault. Get more attack speed, more lifetime with the ability. And then at level 9, you want Suppress the Insolent. The boar does a lot of damage, but it's also unreliable. And it's more there for the stun, and you need Suppress the Insolent a little bit more than you need the boar. So you want to take Suppress the Insolent at this point. And also the mana cost of the boar, since it's your only CC, you definitely want it to only cost 80 mana as opposed to 90 mana, especially since you already have 2 abilities that are going to be costing you a lot of mana for a god that doesn't get a lot of mana. So you definitely want to have the boar cost as little as possible and be more usable. At level 10 and up to level 12, you want to just keep taking Vengeful Assault. Vengeful Assault is where a lot of your damage late game is going to come from, once you have more crits online and more attack speed. And it's just such a good ability and the lower cooldown, and since it's your only movement ability, You definitely need this leveled up right after your Celestian Slim. Now, level 13 and level 14, you take the Caledonian Boar. You get this thing leveled up a little bit, and that way you have longer stuns. Since you already have Suppress the Insolent and Vengeful Soul, you might as well start taking the Boar and getting more damage and a longer stun with him. Then, from then on, you take Transgressor's Fate when you have to. You take the Boar when you're able to. And then at that point, you'll hit level 20. So now, in terms of Hunters, Artemis is my least favorite because I don't like the fact that she doesn't have a lot of movement. And the fact that the only movement in her kit that she gains is finite at 5 seconds. It's not a lot. And you're more often popping Vengeful Assault for the attack speed steroid as opposed to the movement speed. And using it just for movement speed means your damage is severely weakened for a while. So you want to be very careful with it. So now, moving into the item build with Artemis. Bluestone. Spiked Gauntlet to start with a health potion. Very standard hunter stuff. Devourer's Gauntlet. Ninja Tabi. Now with Artemis, you can go Executioner. You can go Ichaival. Both are great with her. But no matter what you go, you want to go into crits next. And here's where you can go get a little bit crazy. Artemis does not need Rage immediately. She has an advantage over other hunters of having 15% built into her kit with her passive that she builds up with basic attacks. Really easy to do with hunters. So instead what you'll see Artemis is often doing is skipping Rage and going straight into Deathbringer. And that means Artemis gets a massive damage spike, and she's gotta be hurting a lot. Now, the only problem with Deathbringer is how expensive it is and how long it can take. It's only 400 gold, a little less than 400 gold more than Rage, but 3,150 gold is very hard to build up. And since you're gonna probably be spending some money on wards or health potions, it takes a long time to build the Deathbringer. If you do decide to go Rage, you can go Rage. After Rage or Deathbringer, you usually pick up Executioner at this point. Get the more attack speed, the shred on protections. Or you can go Executioner right after Ichaival. It doesn't really matter. No matter what, though, you do want to end up with Rage after selling the Bluestone. Or Deathbringer. You want them both. Crits are very important for hunters. They need the damage. And then, with Artemis, what you can do is you can sell the Ichaival. Because at this point, you're going to have crits. The Ichaival's 30 damage is good, but no longer needed. And with Vengeful Assault giving her so much attack speed, she doesn't really need the 30% from Ichaival. And what you'll often see in Artemis pulling is Malice. Now, I haven't talked about Malice a whole lot with Hunters, because very few can pull it off very well, but Artemis can. Malice is similar to Deathbringer in the fact that it'll give you 50 physical power and 20% critical attack chance. But the passive works differently, whereas Deathbringer gives you an additional 50% critical hit damage. Artemis's Malice will instead deal a little bit of extra damage after critting someone in the form of a percentage of your physical power. So again, just a good idea. More crits with Artemis is really good. You'll hit crits so often that the loss of Ichaival doesn't really matter. So now, actives, beads, sprint, standard hunter actives, you need them. Now, skins, you have standard Artemis. Convention 2012, they gave this out as a skin in 2012. You can still get it through certain chests, but it's very, very rare. You'll probably never get it. Golden, Diamond, Legendary. One of her gem skins, Primal Huntress, makes her a little bit more primitive, and her boar is now a little Triceratops. By the way, her boar is called Tusky. Tusky the Caledonian boar. She will yell out Tusky, and you'll call him Tusky. Her other gem skin is called Wrangler, turns her into a cowgirl. And then, this skin, the Stalker skin, is a free skin that you can get by following Smite Game on Twitter. It's one of their promotional skins. Alright.